Hi, and welcome to this edition of Fresh Hope for Mental Health. Our mission here at Fresh Hope for Mental Health is to empower you to live well in spite of your mental health challenge by sharing insights through interviews, practical tools for living well, encouragement, and courage for overcoming all from a Christian perspective. And now, here's your host, Pastor Brad Hoefs.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fresh Hope for Mental Health. I'm Brad Hoefs, your host. Our purpose here on Fresh Hope for Mental Health is to empower you to live a faith-filled, rich, and full life in spite of having a mental health diagnosis. And with me today, I have a friend that I met a number of years ago down in Texas, when he asked me to come down to the Pathways to Hope conference several years ago, and I was one of the keynote speakers for that, and I had the joy of meeting a man by the name of Doug Beach, and that's who we've got with us today on the podcast. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you, Brad, for having me.
You bet. Doug is very involved in NAMI and is a NAMI family-to-family leader, right? Or
yes,
in the down in Texas, and I will let you tell them what city you live in, because right now my brain is absolutely blank.
Yeah, I live in San Antonio.
That's right. San Antonio, of course. Yeah. And he has a beautiful wife named Barbie, I know that. And as well as he is the chairman of the FaithNet for NAMI board of directors, for the National Board of Directors, which I'm on with him. And I appreciate your leadership there, Doug.
Thank you.
So, we can start anywhere you want, but we want to talk specifically today about a very important Pathways to Hope conference coming up here in the next few weeks, right?
Well, it's August 27th and 28th. That's Friday and Saturday. That's about a week and a half from right now. And we start on Friday morning and we continue to Saturday afternoon with both plenary speakers and workshops. So you can kind of tune in for those things that you want to learn about or hear about. Brad, let me just give people a little bit of orientation.
Absolutely.
What the conference is and why we have this conference. This will be the 6th year. Wow. And unfortunately, this will be the second year that is virtual. It's been live every other year. And the first year we started this, in essence, to have a community-wide conversation about mental health and to help not only break the stigma, but to help engage people from faith communities in the mental health sphere. And what I found was too oftentimes people either left their faith at the door, or they weren't part of discussions, or there was this schism, this separation of faith and mental health, or faith communities, faith leaders, and mental health. And part of it was, I don't think we really knew how to talk to one another. And so I decided that one of the best ways to do this was to get everybody in the same room, and we would have a conversation. And we would hit some of these hard topics kind of head on, like the schism between the field of mental health, psychiatry specifically, and in many cases therapy and counseling, with the schism there with faith communities, and with oftentimes pastors who didn't really know how to talk about mental health, or what to say, or where to send people. And that's part of this. It's also part of the stigma. So we decided to convene a conference. We looked at what Saddleback had done in California. We looked at other conferences around the United States. And basically our goal was to get everybody in the community, a complete cross-section, to this first conference. And the first year we had it, we opened the doors. We didn't have any idea how many people. We had over 1,000 people. We filled up the city's Performing Arts Center, and it was it was an answer to prayer. but it also told us all how badly we needed to come together and we needed to be able to talk about this.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how impactful it was for me and for everybody there. So here we are in the 6th year, and each year the conference has evolved some,
Yeah.
and we have a theme or an area of specific interest. We have 4 tracks. We have major plenary speakers, and then we have a faith track. We have a mental health track, a peer program track, and a therapy and counseling track. So after our plenary speakers, we then have workshop sessions, a workshop session in each of the tracks, and that's how the day goes. And this year, for example, some of our major speakers will be former Representative Dr. Tim Murphy, a psychologist, author, and he served in Congress and was the author of the 2016 Caring Families Act, which was the largest piece of mental health legislation done in Congress ever. So he will be helping kind of kick off the conference for us. Some of the other plenary speakers, we have Dr. Paula Dobbs Wiggins on Saturday morning. She is African American. She is the chair of the Parkland Hospital Board of Directors. She is a psychiatrist. She is also an ordained pastor and has recently retired from the Perkins Theological Seminary at SMU, where she was an associate professor of pastoral care. And I could go on, but Dan Gillison, who is the CEO at NAMI, and others.
Yeah.
So this year, what is our focus? Well, this year, our focus is we decided to make it centered around inclusiveness, welcoming everybody from different, not just faith traditions, but different backgrounds to come to the conference. And specifically, we've made a real effort to make sure that people from the African American community are keynote speakers, they're in the workshops, and we wanted to, and I think it's pretty obvious to people who work in this area that there's a large disparity in mental health care in our communities of color.
Yes. Yeah.
And so many of the speakers are going to speak to that, but you're going to hear people from communities of color talk from their perspective about mental health care in their community, and how we can do a better job. So that's a little bit about this year's conference. It's I can't wait. I helped put this conference together, and as I talk to people about speaking at the conference, as Brad has done in the past, I just get so excited. And I can't wait to hear these people. They're all outstanding speakers. All the workshops, every single one of them are great. So you just kind of pick what you want to listen to and work with us through the conference.
Oh yeah, and there's usually so much, and you want to go to all of it when you're there in person. The good thing is, with it being online, you can really pick and choose, right?
You can pick and choose, and anything you miss, we record, and you can go back and listen to afterwards.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. So you can really take the whole thing in, or as much of it as you'd like to over time. You can listen to it on demand then afterwards. What if I miss it live? Can I go back or...
Yeah, it'll be recorded. So if you miss it live, we'll be posting all the workshops and speakers shortly after the conference is over.
Great.
And so you can go back. One of the things I want to mention is that last year in San Antonio, as a result of this conference, we started a program called Bridges to Care San Antonio. And this Bridges to Care is communities of faith coming together in geographic proximity to learn about mental health and to learn how to become more welcoming, inclusive, and supportive of people with mental illness.
Great.
And in particular, we really focused on, in San Antonio, the east side of our city, which is heavily African American, and with an idea that we were going to go to places in the community which had kind of the least access to care. And it has just exploded on us. We have now we have about 38 congregations who have gone through the training with wellness champions, and the congregations are clustered in groups of 5 to 10 congregations. So they're working together in kind of quote unquote neighborhoods. We have another 40 to 50 congregations that are signed up for the training. We have over 300 people that we've already trained. We'll have 500 or 600 by the year end. So this came out of last year's conference. And so this year, our workshops on the faith track are going to talk about how these are formed, what kind of resources we use, and we're going to report on outcomes from our cohorts, from our congregations.
Good.
And then at the end, we'll have a networking session and on, next steps. So I want to invite everybody to kind of listen in on that, because this is something that any community can do.
Yes, and for those of you who are listening today, and you live way far away from San Antonio. I live so far away from San Antonio, I couldn't remember the name of it. No, wherever you live, if you are interested in your city really doing some significant things, really San Antonio is one of the shining lights in our country right now for cities that are really aggressively or assertively causing this conversation to happen in their community. And great stuff. I know when I went down there the first year, I was just shocked at. There were judges, there were attorneys, there were pastors, there were doctors, there were therapists, there were nurses, there were loved ones, and there were people with a diagnosis, all in the same place, all in the same room. By the way, it's a beautiful room when you have it in location or in locally. It's a beautiful place. The Tobin Center. See, I remember that, but I don't remember the name. Crazy. Anyway, I would encourage you to check it out, especially if the things they're doing in San Antonio are things that are easily replicated in other places. And what a great way. That's super. So that's on which track again?
Well, it's on, let me give you the website address. It's going to be, and registration, I forgot to mention, you can register at www.pathwaystohope.net. And the conference is free. And
that's
people in Texas, we also offer free CEUs. So, it's free, and there's every reason to come to it. Pathwaystohope.net, mental health and faith. So we hope to see as many of you there as can make it.
Yes. And you want to get to know the conference or the whole conference from the last 6 years. Do you have content available if somebody wants to get to know, like topics that have been covered through the years? Or
yeah, we have under resources on the website. So if you pull up the pathwaystohope.net website, on one of the tabs across the top will be resources, and if you pull that down, it'll list prior years. And
there you go.
We the last several years we've gotten more recorded than we did the first couple of years, but it'll still give you an idea. And I would encourage everybody to look over the agenda, which is on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what you have to do is click on register now, and it'll take your information, send you a link, and we will. It'll all be virtual. You can actually get a cup of coffee and sit there in your comfortables, and just
put your feet up.
Put your feet up and listen. And it'll be Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th.
Yes.
this month.
And when they do this, they do it very well. It's done very well. And as far as virtually goes, as we all know, it can be problematic sometimes. But from everything I know from last year, it's done extremely well. And also, I would encourage you to kind of map out what you want to attend and kind of plan your days around that. It's August 27th and 28th, correct? And
Correct.
you want to go to pathwaystohope.net to sign up and to find out more. Now, San Antonio is Central Time Zone, if I remember correctly. And
Correct.
so, as if you're going to watch it live, just know that the times are Central Time Zone. And
we open it. It'll be start at 9:30 a.m. Let me double check the time. Yeah, 9:30 a.m. on Friday and 9:30 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, so those of you on the West Coast, you might get up a little bit early, but it's always fun to watch it live. And then I think, do they have the ability to comment or write questions in as they're watching it live?
Yes, and particularly in all the workshops, we'll be taking questions or chat. Should be through Q&A. Our plenary speakers, we don't.
Yes.
But all our workshops do. So, and in fact, we have this year we have one of our perennial favorites, the Ask the Doc workshop, where two psychiatrists, Dr. Dan Moorhead and Dr. Sidney Hankerson, who will be there, and you can ask them anything you want to ask them.
Yeah.
Either as
both phenomenal guys.
Or as a family member.
Yep, both phenomenal guys. Gosh, I may have to just sign in just to ask ornery questions. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, we wanted to do this podcast, even though we're going to get it out as fast as we can to you guys, because we want you to know about this conference. I would highly recommend you checking it out. Again, it's pathwaystohope.net. And it's August 27th, 28th, and you can't argue with free. And then if you see it and you go, oh, but I got a wedding that weekend, or you got plans, well, sign up for it. Then you can watch it on demand within your own time, and at your own leisure. I don't think you can get any better than that, Doug, can you?
No. And did we say it's free?
Yeah, we did say it's free, didn't we?
Yeah, free is good.
Free is always good, especially high quality free. This is not something that's these are people that you want to hear talk. These are people that you want to hear from. And so thank you, Doug, for all your work there and what you do for mental health stuff across the nation. We appreciate it so much. And we look forward to being able to come down to San Antonio in person again sometime. And the river walk is beautiful down there, as well as I lost my ATM card down there the last time I was there.
I can't help you there, Brad.
Yeah, I left it at a restaurant and somebody's still using it probably. So, but anyway, thank you so very much. Appreciate you being with us today, Doug. Again, pathwaystohope.net. And you can see the schedule. It's August 27th and 28th, but on the website, and you can see the workshops and all of that, and who all of the speakers will be. I can promise you, I've never been disappointed since I was down there the first year. I've watched it and been part of it every year, and it just gets better and better and better. So thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you for the opportunity, Brad.
You bet. Well, my friends, we want to thank you for listening to this edition of Fresh Hope for Mental Health. And I pray that you'll get yourself signed up for the conference and that you'll be joining us virtually as we gather on the 27th and 28th of August. I almost said October, August 27th and 28th. We'd really love to hear from you here at Fresh Hope for Mental Health. You can email us your comments or questions or insights, and maybe you have an idea of a topic we should cover on the program. You can always leave a voicemail on our podcast website as well, and connect with us on social media as you're able to. We have a YouTube channel and all the normal stuff. Again, our website is www.freshhopeformentalhealth.com, and we have something totally new. If you go to freshhope.us, you can actually join the Fresh Hope Network. It's all explained right there, and we hope that you'll do that. And then one final request, if you're listening to us on iTunes, would you please take time out and just write a short review of the podcast? It is a way for people to find a Christian mental health podcast, and in their algorithms, that helps greatly. Well, we have a new book out, and it's called Holding to Hope, Staying Sane While Loving Someone with a Mental Illness. It's available on Amazon. We hope that you'll check that out also. So, my friends, may you continue to walk in hope, and may Fresh Hope hold you until the next time we meet. You've been listening to Fresh Hope for Mental Health. I'm Brad Hoefs, your hosts.
You've been listening to Fresh Hope for Mental Health. If you have an opportunity, please review, share, and subscribe to the Fresh Hope for Mental Health podcast on iTunes or on the service that you use. We encourage you to share our podcast on social media with your friends and family. Previous podcasts of Fresh Hope for Mental Health can be found at freshhopeformentalhealth.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and iTunes. Fresh Hope is one of the leading networks of faith-based peer support groups internationally. For more information about Fresh Hope, go to freshhope.us.